I am convinced that more of us as women need cultural intelligence, the ability to work with people who are not like us. With the launch of Cultural Intelligence for Women, it made me think quite hard about what are the really essential elements of cultural intelligence, the starting points for women if they're going to work with women and lead women who are not like them. The first one, to me, has the shape of a bench with the word benchmark against it. So many of us meet other women and immediately judge those other women with our own culture and ourselves as the benchmark. Are these women who are taller than us or shorter than us, better than or worse than us, cleverer or not as clever as us, always with us as the benchmark, always meeting difference with me as the benchmark and judging that difference against the benchmark that is me. And I think a basic element of cultural intelligence is the complete determination to put the concept of benchmark in the bin. I came to understand the second basic element because while I was writing the cultural intelligence book, a lot of people said to me, oh, as you meet other people along this journey of writing, and as they reveal more and more of their cultures to you, you inevitably will increase your own cultural intelligence. And to some extent, that of course was true. But the more I worked on the book, the more this second basic element came to me, that you really get cultural intelligence, not by understanding other people's cultures, other women's cultures, though you do get it from that. But the biggest culture that's crucial to understand is your own culture. And when your own culture actually gets in the way of you understanding other cultures, and when your own culture actually helps you understanding other cultures. So cultural intelligence comes, of course, from other women, but big time it comes from understanding your own culture. The third element of cultural intelligence for us as women, I think, is to know what's in your core. Your core being everything about you, that if you stopped believing it or doing it, you would no longer be you. It's the big things, the beliefs, the convictions, and it's the small things, the behaviours, the habits. And of course, the small things are very often just quite as big as the big things. It's everything that you do or believe that if you stop doing it or believing it, you will no longer be you. What's in my core? Well, it's different from yours. In fact, it's different from everybody's. What's in my core? Family, top priority. Rebelliousness. I can almost always be guaranteed to do the opposite of what people tell me to do. A sort of directness that often gets me either admired or sometimes deeply disliked. A sort of an allergy to pomposity, which I respond to badly. My habits of how I greet people, how I try to smile at people, how I try to say to other people that actually there's nobody in the room that's as important as them. Those are things in my code. You know, all my life, I've always finished all my letters or my emails with "Love, Julia." Everything signed off, "Love, Julia." And I remember when the organisation that I started began to get really big, I remember my colleagues getting me together and saying, "Julia, this is grown-up time. You've got to stop signing everything off as "Love, Julia." And it was quite interesting thinking that one through, because me signing off things as "Love, Julia" is absolutely in my core. And just as some people said, you've got to stop doing it, you've got to move it and stop doing it, it's not in your core, not now. Other people kept on saying to me, "Julia, the moment you stop signing off your emails, "Love, Julia," we know we're all in trouble, you will have lost your core." So is signing off as "Love, Julia" in my core? I don't know. To be honest, that's still under review. But The fourth basic element of cultural intelligence is the other piece of the jigsaw from your core. It's your flex. It's the things that you have decided to be flexible about, that important. Lots of people think that your flex, that's the stuff you haven't made your mind up about. Quite wrong. Flex is the stuff where I have made my mind up. I've made it absolutely clearly, and that is that I am going to be flexible on this subject. And to me, your flex and what you choose to be flexible about defines you as a woman just as much as your core does. The fifth element is taking an enormous amount of care to make sure that neither your core nor your flex becomes too big. If your flex completely dominates, everybody wonders who you are. You'll flex on anything, so well, what won't you flex on? How do I know how to trust you if I don't perceive your core? A lot of women say, but my core is private. But as a leader, it's not private. You have to talk about your core if you want other people to talk about their core. You have to give and hear. And letting flex dominate means that people don't understand you completely, because they can't see your core, either because you're hiding it, or even worse, you don't even have one. Or the opposite is, of course, people who are massive core and almost no flex. And I think that produces trust problems as well. At what point are you prepared to flex with me? Or is this all your game? Is this all you are, let's come back to it, I suppose, the benchmark, and then the rest of us have to flex around you? The sixth element, the sixth and so important element, is the ability to keep your eye clearly and carefully on the line between your core and flex, and to make sure that you're calibrating it all the time. You take on a new job, you move to a new place, you work with people half your age, you work with people double your age, you work with a sector that you don't know, you live in a new street, you see new things, you smell new things, you do new things. That means that you are constantly calibrating your core and your flex. As you go, you'll find things that are in your cores that really are in your flex, and things that actually you thought you were in flex, but when push comes to shove, you'll discover that really they were fiercely and clearly in your core. And as you calibrate, I think that's where you get to the seventh element, the basic element of cultural intelligence. And it's the difficult one, because the more as you calibrate and you begin to understand other people and understand yourself, you will find things, we all find them, in our core that shouldn't be there. They are habits or behaviours that we've fallen into that need dusting down and moving out, because sometimes they have the opposite effect to your intent. And sometimes they are views that are formed more out of prejudgment than out of judgment. And you're going to have to figure them out and either move them to your flex, because under the clear light of day, they don't belong. They don't make sense. In some cases, you can't move them to your flex because they're so baked into your DNA. But then I think you have to figure out how to manage them so that they become your problem and not other people's problems. And I think also you find things in your core that were planted not by you. They were planted by your context, your culture, the world you were brought up in. For many of us as women, for example, the impostor syndrome, it lies there somewhere in our cores, that sense of being an imposter in situations. It's somewhere in our cores. We didn't put it there. Somebody else put it there. And I think in many cases, most of us are having to work really hard to move that to our flex and move it out of our core. And the final element of cultural intelligence, that's all in your head. It's a mindset. It's a mindset that when you are presented and you walk into a situation where you're meeting women who are very different from you, it's a mindset of being excited by that, by not being terrified by that. I think the Core and Flex approach helps you not to be terrified, because you can sort of work your way through and understand things by using it. But it's a mindset that makes you know that being amongst different women will make you more modern, make you more interesting, it'll make you more innovative, and it'll make you more resilient. It's a mindset of being excited by difference. And that's the really, really crucial beginning and the end. Breaking away from the benchmark and recognizing that this is an opportunity to be amongst difference, and that is hugely energizing.